Hey everyone, John here from rchelicopterfun.com. This video we're going to open up this Horus X12S. As I previously mentioned in another video I did on this, just going over what I thought of the feel of it. In that video I mentioned that I've got to open it up because one, this is a ratcheted throttle, and for RC helicopter usage, seeing this is our collective pitch, you don't want ratchet, you don't want that indexed stick. You want a really precision and fluid movement of this stick. So I've got to change that to a friction style stick, which is easily done inside. And these two toggles I have to switch around. This is the sprung one, which I want on the left, and the two position I want on the right for my throttle hold. So to open one of these up, you won't put down something soft, a towel or a blanket or something. I've just got an Align assembly towel here. And to open the back up, you've got 6 primary screws to remove. I'm also going to remove, though, the bolt here for this connector. What are those called? SMDs, I believe. Sorry, brain dead right now, but and you'll see why I'm doing this. So that's an 8mm nut on there. And the reason I'm doing this, I'll just tell you right now, is these are connected to the circuit boards by little UFL connectors, and they've got a fairly short cycle life, meaning how many times you can unplug them. And I don't want to unplug that from the circuit board. So by removing that, I'm not going to have to unplug that UFL connector on the other end of it from the circuit board. So we'll just fast forward through these. Okay, so we got all those out, and just flip it around, get those 6 screws out, put them in a safe spot. Now with that off, this should hopefully slide apart. The back should slide off. There we go. You don't have to take the rubber grips off or anything, but you have to be really careful now when you open this up because there's wiring that's connecting the back half to the front half. So we've got these 2 plugs right here. Hopefully that's still in frame. I guess it is. So we've got to take those out. Your call if you want to use pliers or not. Gently take them out. If you want to wear a static strap on your arm, probably a good idea. I'm not, but I probably should be. So there's those out of the way. Here's the external antenna. That's what we took that nut off of. And as you can see, there's looks like some kind of glue there. Get that out. There's one of those UFL connectors, so now we don't have to unplug that from the board. This wire you got to be a little careful of. This is the antenna, or the coaxial wire that's going to the GPS antenna, which is on the back right here. I'm going to leave that connected, but if you wanted to take this back right off, yeah, you'd have to take that little UFL connector off right there. And there's one more connector here, and it's going to the little vibration motor. I'll see if we can get in there. Take that little guy out. There we go. So, now with that removed, I'm just going to flip this over like this. And then we don't have to bother with that. We don't have to take that connector apart. Now let's just take a look inside here. Bruce at RC Model Reviews has already got an awesome video going over the inside of one of these, and I couldn't come close to duplicating his quality, so I'd recommend watching that. In fact, I might even link to it if anyone's interested, but he really thoroughly goes over this and with his engineering background provides a lot of insightful information on the build quality. But all I'm doing is swapping some switches around. But let's look at a couple of things here. I want to get that in the way. The battery pack, when it's a nickel metal hydride. I actually like that over lithium. I know a lot of people complain, oh, it's got to be lithium. I've actually had more problems with lithium packs in my transmitters than I've had with good old nickel metal hydride. Part of the reason because I accidentally leave them on sometimes. That's not going to happen with this. So again, I kind of predict there might be a lithium upgrade for this. There would have to be a new smart circuitry board put in for the charger, but it might be a thing that comes, I don't know. Anyways, what I'm getting at is I don't mind having the 2000 milliamp hour nickel metal hydride. I actually like that. Nice gimbals, all metal. These are aluminum. If you want to play with spring tension, it's these little what do we got here? 1.5 millimeter screws on each quadrant. And there's one there, one there. If you want to increase or decrease the spring tension of the gimbal sticks. I said I was going to decrease mine a little bit. To decrease it, you turn it in, which moves the spring up, which releases some of the tension off of it. There, I like the feel of that. There. And same thing over here. We'll screw this one in a little bit as well to release the tension. There we go. Now the big thing is, this is the throttle, and I wanted to get rid of that ratchet. So they make it really easy. This is the ratchet side, where that little detent is. There's all the little ribs underneath it. So you just unscrew this screw, which this is basically just a sprung piece of metal, and that's what holds that ratchet detent against those notches. Okay, so now it's no longer ratcheted, but it's really loosey-goosey now. So to get the friction, you want this one without the detent and the smooth slider on the back. You want to tighten that down. Again, this is a 1.5 millimeter hex. And tighten it down as far as you feel that you want. It feels pretty good. But that feels really nice now. If you wanted to switch, this again was mode 2, but if you wanted to switch your throttle onto the other side, it's mirrored over here. You've got your both of these are actually loosened right up for your standard aileron and elevator, because you don't want any friction on there whatsoever. But if you wanted to make this to be your throttle over here, you tighten one of these down, so you get the ratchet, and you'd have to remove the spring on the throttle, like it's removed on this side. You can see on this side there's a little screw in here, and what that's doing is it's holding this spring plate out of the way, so the stick, so there's no more spring in there. So there's no more centering spring. So what you'd have to do is take this little Phillips screw out of this side and screw it into this side, so that spring arm would be held out of the way, and then this would be loose, and it would be controlled just by, or it would be a friction hold when you tighten either of these bands down. And like I said, I have to switch these two switches around. Yeah, I just thought I'd go over doing these switches real quick. I've already got this side removed. They have these little plastic cradles they go in, and it wouldn't hurt to mark those so you know which way is up. I've just got a little silver marker, so I mark the top of the switch so I know that's up when I move it to this side. I'll do this one right now as well. And these little cradles are what keep the switch from pivoting in the hole. There's a little notch, I don't know if you can see it, but there's a little notch in the top of this cradle, and it aligns with this notch right on the case. So this cradle won't turn, and the switch can't turn within the cradle. So that's what prevents the switch from turning. To get these out, they use these little top nuts. There's these little slots in them for tightening. There's an actual special tool for that. I just use a screwdriver in there and tighten them that way, but there's a special tool. To get these out, the wiring from your front toggle is in the way, so you have to gently remove that wire from that front toggle. So you can slide this out underneath it. Get our little X-Acto knife, so we'll just cut the heat shrink away. Be very careful you don't cut the wiring. Okay, so with the heat shrink, you don't even have to really remove it all. You can just slide it back. And then we're just going to heat this up. There we go. So now when this one goes on this side, we're going to want it up like that. Red will be on that pin and the yellow will be on the bottom pin. So we'll just slide that heat shrink off right now. It goes on there. I'm just going to resolder those ends real quick just so they're a little cleaner looking. Just tin the ends. And while I'm thinking of it, before I forget, we'll put a couple of pieces of heat shrink on those wires right now. The yellow on the yellow wire. Slide it back. Same with the red. And I'm just going to fast forward through the other switch. Take it out. So what I'm going to do now is get my little helping hand thingy out. Use it to hold the switch. We make these two solder joints hopefully. So red goes into the middle. We've got the heat shrink on. Just put a little more solder on that wire. Keep the tip clean. There, you just want a nice little ball on the end. Have my reading glasses on. Tip cleaned off. That one. Do the same to the yellow. Want a little dollop on the end. SMD rework on. This is what I'm going to use to shrink the tube. You could use anything, lighter, small heat gun, whatever you use to heat shrink your heat shrink. There we go. So to get that in, we'll just have to slip it back through there. We'll get that little notch out. I believe it goes, which way does it go again? Yeah, it goes this way. So we'll get that under the wire. Where are those tweezers? Just get that in there, hold it into position while we'll put it through. And then we put our little nut on the back, or on the top rather. And we're good to go. Just make sure you, when you're finished up here, put these wires back in their little catches, because you don't want those coming loose and binding up against the gimbals as they're moving around. That's all there is to it. I won't show the other side because it's just the mirror image, but hopefully you get the idea. And I never did talk about if you had to replace the battery in one of these. It's super simple. It's just plugged in with this plug here. There's actually adhesive on the back. There's a piece of double-sided adhesive tape. It's right there, and there's the battery pack if you ever have to replace them. 8-cell nickel metal hydride pack. So that's all there is to that. And if you put a new one in, I guess you just put in some new double-sided adhesive on it. And it fits in there really nicely. And then plug the power plug back in. So if you had to get a pack, that's all there is to changing it. So hope that helped anyone who wants to move those switches around. Cheers, folks.